Hello, good morning or good afternoon to India, here from Germany, from the German winter. My name is Michael Kottner. I'm CEO of IBBK Biogas in Germany, and I will present the keynote to this conference on biogas and a novelty on biogas, biogas to hydrogen. Let me share my screen. So, wait a minute. I hope everybody can see. I'm presenting the project ColdSpark, which is an EU supported project under Horizon Europe. And we are looking at the conversion of biogas into hydrogen through a novel technology called ColdSpark. And that's what my presentation is all about. It is a 42 months Horizon project launched in June 2022 with 7 partners from Norway, UK, Spain, Bulgaria, and Germany. We will be validating an existing novel cold plasma. It's a non-thermal plasma which is colder than the normal thermal plasma, about 10 times colder. Technology for air cleaning to produce hydrogen and solid carbon from methane or biomethane. It's an industrial scale process with about 79% energy efficiency, and it has been tested many times, also in India and in China and in Europe, 2,700 times. The company who is offering the technology has also subsidiary companies in India and in China. In this project, we will develop and test 3 main subsystems of the methane cracking process. First of all, the novel plasma reactor, then the power supply to this plasma reactor, and the carbon and gas separation. The modular design and the low energy consumption of less than 15 kilowatt hours per hydrogen produced, and there's no need for catalysts and water. This makes the solution least complex and cost competitive compared to other processes. What is methane pyrolysis? It involves the splitting of the methane into its 2 components, hydrogen and solid carbon. And in this case, it's not CO2, it's a solidified carbon, which is out of the atmosphere. Therefore, the greatest benefit of the generation is the CO2-free hydrogen, with a solid carbon as the only byproduct. Here you see the methane molecule and then the water molecule. And these are the 2 approaches to produce hydrogen at the moment. The one from methane is very old. It's normally 95% of our hydrogen comes actually from methane, from natural gas. You split it up through a steam reforming, and then you have the hydrogen and the CO2, but it's in gaseous form. And there you have the water, and there you also have 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, but the bonds are very much more intense here, and therefore more energy is required to split it. In fact, 25% of the methane in weight is hydrogen. The rest is carbon, it's a solid carbon. And therefore, if we have either natural gas or biomethane or water, the difference is that the methane pyrolysis requires less energy, much less energy compared to the electrolysis from water. And it's about 7 to 8 times more energy, because the bond energy of the water is higher than the one of the methane. This would be our layout for the solid carbon and hydrogen production. Here we have the methane source. It's either fossil methane or methane from renewable sources like biomethane. That comes into the pulsed discharge plasma reactor, and the plasma reactor works at about 200 degrees only, compared to a thermal plasma reactor which works on 2000 degrees. That's the difference. And then we got the hydrogen and the solid carbon. In case there's too much solid carbon, one can also produce acetylene, which is a basic product for industry and also very expensive. It's a quite expensive product. So therefore, either black carbon or acetylene. The black carbon can also be transformed into graphene, graphite, and carbon black. So other very useful products to make also tires and so on. The hydrogen, of course, can be used in transport and applications and heating applications. We also, of course, need energy for that, electricity, so it can be renewable energy. In the case of Norway, in this project, we have about a carbon footprint of the electricity in Norway is about 27 grams per kilowatt hour, which is very, very low compared to Germany, which has about 500 to 600 grams at the moment, very, very low. So this can be also made quite low. But compared to other technologies, especially the electrolyzers, because it needs so much more energy, the carbon footprint of the electrolyzers with the CO2 footprint of the electricity from Norway would be 3 times higher. So because the energy consumption is so high. So to produce hydrogen from electrolyzers also increases the carbon footprint compared to that, because we have a much stronger bond and we need more electricity to do the splitting. So here in overview there are the 3 possibilities to make methane. The one is the gray hydrogen from which is generated through steam, methane reforming, and water and gas shift. So 1 megawatt hour electricity can produce 175 kilograms of hydrogen, but also 960 kilograms of CO2, which goes into the atmosphere. With the low carbon hydrogen from water, you put in 180 kilograms of water and you have you use 1 megawatt hour of electricity. Then you have 20 kilograms of hydrogen and 160 kilograms of oxygen. But so the efficiency is relatively low. With the methane pyrolysis and the cold spark technology, we have 100 kilograms of hydrogen and 300 kilograms of solid carbon when we put in 400 kilograms of methane. So both those technologies are low carbon hydrogen production technologies. Why would we use methane pyrolysis? Like historically, natural gas and biogas prices have been significantly lower than electricity costs. And this could be a longer term perspective, and therefore methane pyrolysis will be a natural alternative to electrolyzers. With the cold spark technology, 80% of the required energy comes from natural gas or biomethane and 20% from the electricity input. With the electrolyzers, 100% of the required energy comes from electricity. That is plus minus 50 kilowatt hours, plus 10 liters of ultra clean water. That also has to be considered, that you need a lot of water, and that has to be ultra clean. That means also extra energy goes into the cleaning of the water if the water is not ultra clean. And also the hydrogen transportation, if hydrogen is transported, it's very, very inefficient. To transport 1 ton of hydrogen requires a truck weighing about 32 tons. So this is very inefficient. Or you can have to convert it into NH3, and that's another chemical conversion step which also requires energy again. So therefore it's actually at the moment too expensive to transport hydrogen efficiently around. So therefore the cold spark technology offers a decentralized approach to produce hydrogen in biogas plants, where the biogas is flowing continuously. There is no backlog of production when there's no sunshine or no wind blowing. It's continuously produced, so this is a big advantage. Or you can take out from the national gas grid and use natural gas for the production of the hydrogen in a decentralized way. So why is cold spark so attractive versus the electrolyzers to produce hydrogen? The molecular bonds holding together the carbon atom and the hydrogen atoms in the methane break with less energy than the bonds between hydrogen and oxygen in water. The process requires no water as a feedstock, only methane. And the use of biomethane for pyrolysis enables a 5-folded saving of CO2 in the circular economy, because biomethane already avoids CO2 from storage of manure. It avoids fossil fertilizer production, and it avoids fossil energy production. And then it additionally separates the CO2 from the biogas by upgrading to methane, and this CO2 can be utilized or stored. And the fifth method is to make hydrogen from biomethane and split it into hydrogen and solid carbon. So therefore this technology provides an additional carbon sink to biogas technology, and this is a very, very big asset in my mind for biogas, to consider that it actually can separate and has separate CO2 and therefore has a carbon negativity. The first project is up and running here in Germany, but unfortunately only with a steam reformer. But nevertheless, the technology is proven, and it can be offered in a first pilot project on a farm at a biogas plant and an existing biogas plant for local buses in the city of Aachen. And there they have hydrogen buses, and they're quite glad to have the continual hydrogen production to supply the fuel to their buses. So this is the first project, and we hope that more are coming. With the cold spark, we are still in the pilot phase, in the lab phase, and it is expected that by the end of 24, the first pilot plant is up and running as well. There are other technology providers and research projects on the table at the moment in this direction. One is called Titan. The other one is called Spark Energy, or from other companies, on Sakovin. These are the closest technology provider to this technology. Otherwise, it's a very small it's a very small bond, or a very small array of companies which provide this technology. All the others, they have a thermal plasma technology. That's where also bigger companies like BASF or other oil and gas companies come in. But with this low energy consumption technology, the cold spark is very unique. Therefore, I thank you for your attention, and you should keep up the information on our Cold Spark website, www.coldspark.eu, for more information. Thank you very much.